When a massive orca found itself stranded on a New Zealand shoreline, a crowd quickly gathered, drawn to the helpless creature. What happened next left everyone in awe as they witnessed something they never thought they'd see. The first light of dawn had just illuminated Marlborough Beach, New Zealand, when locals stumbled upon a startling sight. There, sprawled across the damp sand, lay a colossal orca, its striking black and white body shimmering in the soft morning light. The seriousness of the situation was immediately clear. This powerful ocean predator was now defenseless on land. News spread rapidly through the tight-knit coastal community, and people rushed to help. As calls for assistance were made, more onlookers arrived, their faces reflecting shock and concern. Interestingly, this wasn't the first sighting of orcas. In recent days, just the day before, beachgoers had excitedly watched a pod of orcas hunting near the shore. These weren't small creatures. Each one rivaled the length of a school bus. The pod moved in perfect unison, some diving deep while others skimmed the surface. They were likely hunting, drawing them close to land. People stood mesmerized, children pointing excitedly as the orcas displayed their agility. The pod lingered near shore for hours, before eventually slipping back into deeper waters as night fell. Those who had watched felt privileged to witness such a display of nature's power. No one could have imagined that by the next morning, one of these incredible creatures would be struggling for survival on the very same beach. The local community quickly grew attached to the stranded orca and named her Luna. This wasn't just any marine animal. Orcas are among the most intelligent creatures on Earth. Their brains are large and highly developed, similar to dolphins and even chimpanzees. They solve problems, remember experiences for years, and hunt with remarkable skill. Scientists call them the wolves of the sea because they work in coordinated groups, teaching younger pod members advanced hunting techniques. Orcas are even known to create waves to knock seals off ice floes, and occasionally beach themselves on purpose when they know they can slide back into deeper water. So how did such a highly intelligent creature end up stranded? The answer likely lay in the eye. Unpredictable coastal waters. When orcas hunt, they lock onto their prey with intense focus. Luna may have chased a fish into the shallows, unaware of how quickly the tide was receding. The shifting sandbanks and changing water levels could have trapped her, pushing her further onto the beach. Despite their intelligence, orcas can't predict tides or read shifting ocean currents. But at this moment, the how was less important than the what now. Could Luna be saved? Designed for deep ocean swimming, Luna was now stranded, on dry land, unable to rely on her speed or strength. In open water, orcas are some of the fastest and most powerful creatures alive, capable of outracing Olympic swimmers and diving deeper than submarines. But on the shore, Luna's abilities were useless. As the morning wore on, her situation became more dire. The sun climbed higher, its heat intensifying. Orcas have dark skin that quickly absorbs heat, which isn't an issue in the ocean where water regulates their temperature. But on land, Luna was overheating rapidly. More and more people arrived, all asking the same question: how can we help? Realizing they had to act fast, the community sprang into action. Their first priority was keeping Luna alive until they could figure out how to get her back to the ocean. Some rushed home and returned with buckets, filling them with seawater, to pour over her massive body. This served two purposes: keeping her cool and maintaining moisture on her sensitive skin. Others brought large towels and sheets, soaking them in seawater before draping them over her to protect against the sun. Despite their efforts, Luna's condition worsened. Orcas have smooth, rubbery skin that must stay wet to stay healthy. And even with continuous dousing, her skin began to dry. Her breathing changed too. What had been deep, steady breaths became fast and shallow, as if she was struggling for air. Her eyes, usually so expressive and full of life, started to lose focus, becoming dull and tired. The change alarmed those who had gathered. At first, Luna had looked around, seeming aware of the people trying to help. Now she seemed too exhausted to react. Seeing her struggle only made the crowd more determined. Many who had initially come just to watch now stepped in to assist. Some joined the line of volunteers carrying seawater, while others held the wet sheets in place to block the sun. Even children helped. Some ran back and forth, bringing bottles of drinking water for the exhausted volunteers, while others organized supplies to ensure everything was within reach. It was a remarkable moment of unity, as an entire community came together in a desperate race against time to save Luna's life. The rescuers realized they needed a better strategy. Simply pouring water on the orca wasn't enough. She had to return to the ocean quickly, but moving something so massive was a challenge. An adult orca can weigh up to 6 tons, the same as a large elephant or a big truck. No matter how hard they pushed, they couldn't move Luna back into the water on their own. Their first plan seemed promising. A local fishing boat offered to tow her back to sea. The idea was simple. Attach ropes to the boat, wrap them carefully around Luna, and pull her into deeper water. The boat captain was ready and the ropes were in place. However, nature had other ideas. Sorry for the interruption. Before we continue, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. Thank you. When they attempted the plan, the sea was rough that day. Waves kept crashing against the shore, preventing the boat from getting close enough. The captain tried 3 different approaches, but each time, the waves forced him to pull back. If the boat got too close to shore, it risked getting stuck in the sand, creating 2 problems instead of 1. The ropes posed another issue. Luna's skin, normally protected by water, was delicate and sensitive. The pressure from the ropes could dig into her flesh, much like a tight rubber band cutting into a finger. Even if they positioned the boat correctly, pulling her could cause serious harm. No one was willing to take that risk. After the boat plan failed, the team moved on to their second idea. Someone suggested digging a channel in the sand, like a small river leading from Luna to the ocean. The concept made sense. Create a path where water could flow and help Luna float. 20 people grabbed shovels and started digging, but the sand wouldn't cooperate. As fast as they dug, the sides of the channel collapsed, filling it back in. It was like trying to dig a hole at the beach near the water. The sand kept sliding. They widened the channel, but the same thing happened. Even in areas where they managed to keep the path open, a bigger problem arose. The water flow wasn't strong enough to move Luna. Both rescue attempts failed, but these setbacks taught the team an important lesson. They couldn't fight nature. They had to work with it. This realization led them to their final strategy, waiting for high tide. It was the best option. The rising water would help lift Luna's weight naturally. Until then, they could keep her skin wet and cool. Once the tide rose high enough, Luna could use her strength to swim. It was a safer approach that worked with nature, not against it. But time was running out. The longer Luna remained on land, the greater the danger. Another major concern weighed on everyone's minds. Orca families, called pods, never abandon each other. They stay together for life, like a close-knit family of parents, siblings, and even grandparents. They swim together, hunt together, and protect one another. They even have their own special sounds, a secret language only their pod understands. Luna's family was likely in deeper waters, calling out for her. Orcas become distressed when separated from their pod, and the rescue team could see how anxious Luna was. Sometimes she made sounds, possibly trying to call her family. This urgency pushed the team to work even faster. Some of the experts knew that if they could just get Luna back into deep water, her pod would help her. Orcas are known to support sick or injured family members, swimming beside them and even pushing them to the surface to breathe if necessary. But before that could happen, Luna had to get off the beach. If their plan failed, she might never see her family again. As the hours passed, hope began to fade. The whale, once full of movement, had grown still. Her breathing became shallow as she struggled to right herself. The crowd watched in silence, many wiping away tears. It seemed that despite their efforts, they were about to witness a tragedy. Then, as the tide rolled in, the first waves reached Luna's tail. Suddenly, there was movement. Her tail twitched. This small sign sent a surge of hope through the crowd. Luna hadn't given up. She had been conserving energy, waiting for the water's return. The rescue team sprang into action. As the tide continued rising and surrounded Luna, they gently swayed her body, allowing water to flow underneath. Orcas are highly sensitive to water currents, and Luna could sense which direction led back to the open sea. At first, nothing seemed to change. The team continued their rhythmic movements. Then, little by little, Luna began responding. She moved with the water's flow, using her tail to test the best way forward. She wasn't thrashing or panicking. She was working with the rescuers, using the tide to lift her body. This careful coordination between Luna and the team was proof of why orcas are considered one of the smartest animals in the ocean. Most wild animals would have panicked. If humans tried to touch stranded orcas, they often panicked, but not Luna. She seemed to understand that the people on the beach were trying to save her. When rescuers pushed gently on one side, she moved in that direction. When they guided her toward deeper water, she followed their lead. It was as if she knew exactly what they wanted her to do. The volunteers, now standing waist-deep in the sea. Surf pushed and pulled, working tirelessly to steer her toward freedom. It was exhausting and dangerous work. One wrong move could mean injury from the whale's powerful tail flukes. But no one was willing to give up. After hours of effort, Luna finally reached a depth where she could swim on her own. The beach fell silent as everyone watched, holding their breath. For a moment, the whale simply floated, as if uncertain. Then with a sudden powerful stroke of her tail, she surged forward. The crowd erupted in cheers and applause, people embracing in relief and joy. But Luna wasn't finished surprising them. Instead of swimming straight out to sea, she circled, approaching the shore where the volunteers stood. For one heart-stopping moment, some feared she might beach herself again, but she stopped just short, her tall dorsal fin slicing through the water as she swam parallel to the beach. Then, she did something extraordinary. She launched her entire body out of the water, spinning mid-air. This breathtaking move, called breaching, is how orcas communicate with each other. Luna's leap wasn't just for show. It sent a message to both her rescuers and her pod that she was okay. When an orca breaches, it uses its powerful tail to propel itself completely out of the water. The fact that Luna could do this after being stranded for so long was a clear sign of her regained strength. Each leap sent massive waves crashing, like a giant cannonball at a pool. The crowd gasped, then erupted into cheers. Luna breached 3 times, each jump a jubilant celebration of her freedom. These leaps were more than just instinct. They were an expression of pure joy. Orcas are one of the few animals known to play simply for fun. They are also among the rare species, besides humans, that teach their young how to play. Luna's energetic display left everyone in awe. After her final breach, she turned toward deeper water. Her movements were deliberate. This wasn't random. Luck. She knew exactly where she was going. Orcas have an incredible internal compass, allowing them to navigate vast oceans. They can remember routes and locations for years, passing this knowledge down through their pod. As Luna swam farther out, her tall dorsal fin remained visible, cutting smoothly through the waves. An orca's fin can grow as tall as a human, and each one is uniquely shaped, like a fingerprint. The crowd stood watching until Luna's fin disappeared from view, knowing she was finally on her way back to her family. As the adrenaline from the rescue faded, the true impact of what they had accomplished set in. Strangers hugged, laughed, and cried together, bonded by the incredible experience of saving a life against all odds. In the days that followed, Luna's rescue became a worldwide story, spreading from Marlborough Beach to national and international news. Marine biologists were amazed by the orca's apparent understanding and cooperation during the rescue. What began as a desperate struggle had transformed into a triumphant return to the ocean. This story serves as a powerful reminder of the incredible impact human compassion can have on animals in need. Did you enjoy this story? Would you have helped Luna despite the risks? Have you ever rescued an animal from a tragic fate? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this story, be sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Sometimes the most extraordinary moments in life are the ones we least expect. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video. Have a great day.